What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Come on, just get on your feet, go in and shake somebody's hand that you haven't shook your hand before today, and then we're just going to go ahead and worship, man. Hallelujah. verse says that in 2 Corinthians 3rd chapter and 17, it said, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. God inhabits the praises of His people. So when you worship God, when you focus yourself and just give yourself a worship and say, God, I magnify you. There is freedom in the building because the Spirit is here, because of what He's done on the cross. And I know this has been like a rainy day, been a gloomy day, you know. Maybe there's not a lot of energy, but that's okay because we're relying on God's truth. More than our energy, we celebrate the fact that Jesus is alive. He has conquered death and the grave. He has conquered our sin and shame. So even though this might be a rainy day, we're going to celebrate the victory of the cross. So even now, I want you to lift up your hands. I want you to lift up your heart to Him. And I just want you to look back and just say, God, I thank you for what you did at the mountain. I thank you for setting me free. I thank you, Jesus, that you came and you died on the cross, that I can live in freedom, that I can live in wholeness. Jesus, that I can know you. Lord, I just release your freedom in this place. I release the glory. Thank you, Lord, for the reality of the cross. We love you, Jesus. So we're going to sing what the Spirit of the Lord is, and we're going to raise our hands, and we're just going to declare it in the atmosphere. We say, where the Spirit of the Lord, there is freedom. Freedom in my life. Where the Spirit of the Lord, there is freedom. Every chain is broken, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord, there is freedom. And I just want you to open your heart and your mind and just stare at him, stare at the beauty of his face. It's just like, God, I want to see your face. Lord, I want to know you more. And yet I just lift up my heart to you and I say yes to you. Lord, we love you, Jesus. I'm going to sing Jesus, we love you one more time. And Jesus, we love you. And oh, how we love you. You are the one our hearts adore your presence. Jesus, we love you. Oh, how we love you. You are the closed and your heart fixed on him, just open your mouth on your own and just begin to tell the Lord how much you love him. Come on, just in your own words, in your own way, without depending on or hiding behind the words of the song or the words on the screen. Come on, man, just lift up praise in this place. Come on, lift your voice up. Just tell the Lord how much you care for him, how much you adore him, how much you love him, how much your heart longs for him. God, we say, those who would worship him in spirit and in truth. He wants to hear the truth of your heart tonight. Come on, he wants to hear the truth of your worship to him. Come on, just pour it out just a few moments longer. Come on, give him your very best. God will give you all the words that you are worthy of it. You are worthy of it. There is no one else worthy. There is no one else worthy. God, it's just you. Just you. They came to worship with you tonight. And so if you're sitting in the back, why don't you go ahead and make your way close to the front. There's no need to be sitting way back there. We got all this space up here. Y'all feel so far away.
Don't feel so far away. What's up, Josh? How you doing? Hey, it's good to see you guys tonight. I'm glad that you decided to come to church and you didn't freak out about the weather. It's just rain, y'all. It's just rain, y'all. So we're going to pass the buckets. You guys give to God. Give your tithe, give your offering. God honors that. He loves that. The Bible says He loves a cheerful giver. So I heard today that Conway Christian let their school out at noon because they thought that the weather might get bad. I mean, really? Conway Christian. Yeah, I'm for real. They let out at noon. I don't know, there's something wrong with them. They're weak Christians. They should have prayed until that storm. So, yeah, that's right. Anyway, man, so I'm glad you guys came. I'm glad that your parents drove you here, that you drove yourself here, or whatever. I really believe that God's going to do some awesome stuff tonight. We're excited about it. So, next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is Tote Sundays. Crazy, right? Can y'all believe that it's almost May? Who's ready to be out of school? Yeah. I don't know, I didn't school anymore, so, but I feel your pain. I remember those days. Yeah, so Tote Sundays is going to be a lot of fun. Next week we'll have a sign-up sheet for you to sign up because I know that some of y'all will sign up this week and forget that you even signed up. So we'll put a sign-up sheet out there for you to come, just help us work, help us hang out. We make lemonade, we grill burgers, we have succotash that we make. Yeah, it's a blast. It really is a lot of fun. Emily's like a professional lemonade maker, so she can tell everybody how to make lemonade. And we're selling no sweet tea this year. We're not doing sweet tea. We've actually been doing sweet tea, but we do have all beef hot dogs for the second time. Those were a big hit last year. And we're selling giant dill pickles this year, which we've never done before. So no caramel apples. We X'd those. Those were not worth the money that we spent on them, and they were a mess. So if you want a caramel apple, you have to go get that somewhere else. I don't think they have them anywhere else. But you can get anything else you want fried on the stick there, I can tell you that. So, we want you guys to be there all weekend and hang out with us. Even if you don't make a lemonade or even if you don't grill a burger, it's a great time to just come and fellowship and hang out and people watch. You will see some weird stuff. Oh, yeah. And so I need y'all to start like praying and fasting and asking the Lord right now that we would have perfect weather Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We need 3 consecutive days of beautiful weather. Last year was pretty good. Yeah, so it can happen. We've seen it happen. The Lord answers prayers. So we need y'all to pray, right? So who's gonna seriously? I'm kind of joking, but I'm really being serious. If we have 3 days of good weather, we will have a much better profit margin. And so thank the Lord for that. If you want to give into our fundraiser, we'd love for you to do that. It's about $850 just to set up our booth, and then we probably spend another $1,500 or so on product to be able to sell what we sell. So if we could have people give donations to that, let's say we need to raise $3,000. If 30 people give $100, then we got it covered. And then all of the money that we take in then can be completely profit, which is awesome. This fundraiser helps us to do all the stuff that we do. Really, it's the main fundraiser we do throughout the year. We used to do a fireworks tent, and then the Lord delivered us from that, like He delivered the children of Israel out of Egypt. And no, it wasn't worth the money. It was good money, but it wasn't worth the time. Yeah, and the heat was ridiculous. We almost died out there several times. We got the cops calling on us for blowing stuff up. We almost set a field on fire and lots of good stuff. We used to have a porta potty out there, and they quit bringing us the porta potty because people would go in there to go poop in the porta potty or pee in the porta potty. They would drop explosives down a little thing, and like poo would explode on them while they were sitting on the toilet. One time, so we actually pushed it over while somebody was in there. Good times. So this is really our, other than the offering that you give on Wednesday nights, which I realize that most of you don't have an income. So your ability to give large amounts is not there yet. I believe it will be one day. So like our offerings on a Wednesday night obviously are not a ginormous amount of money. So it's a great fundraiser for us at Toad Suck Days, and it helps us to be able to fix our lights that are blinking, acting crazy. Which those lights, to fix them are like $250 a piece. You know, like it helps us to, when kids want to go to the ramp, or they want to go to Camp Songahachia, or they want to go on a youth event and they can't afford it, we're able to say, look, just go. We don't want money to be an issue. So it's a great way for us to be able to function. We don't have like a church budget where they give us, you know, you get $5,000 a year for youth ministry. Good luck. You know, like we raise our own funds. A lot of churches do a lot of different ways, and that's the way we're set up. So we raise our own funds, and it costs money to operate. So this is a good way for us to raise funds. And it's only 2.5 days versus 2.5 weeks in 105-degree heat at the fireworks tent, where someone has to stay there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah. And you sell nothing until July 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So why are we not open just July 3rd, 4th, and 5th? I don't get it. That's why we couldn't do the fireworks tent. You had to go out there for 2.5 weeks for $5,000. And we can, in 3 days, make $4,000 in Toad Suck. If we have 3 good days of weather. Alright? So y'all be praying for good weather. And pray, this is it. So you want to pray for good weather, you gotta come volunteer. And then the third thing you have to do is you have to tell all your friends and family and neighbors and teachers and classmates to come to Toad Suck and buy something from our booth. Don't go buy other stuff everywhere else. Go to our booth. Because we do have Toad Suck Succotash, which nobody else has. It's really good. Our burgers are too legit. They're so good. And our hot dogs are really good too. Like, they really are. They're bigger than the hot dogs that were at the Travs game. And they're all beef. So it's really good. Seriously, if you want to go get chicken on the stick somewhere, that's cool. But just come give us a donation and buy some of our food. Tell everybody to come. It's going to be awesome. So tonight, actually over the next few weeks, you guys are in for a treat. You're going to get to hear the preaching of the word from Michael and Quentin and Tiffany and Skylar and Taylor. And they're going to bring the fire. So I hope y'all are ready. They're about to just spit fire. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be good, man. So I'm excited about it. Which one of you guys want to go first? No. Quentin and Michael are going tonight, so you only got 2 choices. You volunteered Quentin as tribute. Taylor's not going tonight either. Alright, y'all give it up for Mike. He's about to bring the thunder, alright?
Man, I guess Ryan wanted me to share with you guys my testimony a little bit in my life. I think that you all know me pretty well. Grew up in church, right? I don't think I've done anything too crazy in my life. I haven't shot anybody like Tiffany. I haven't pulled the trigger and killed her or anything like that. Or killed anybody. I haven't, you know what I mean? I didn't grow up in a gang. I didn't grow up in Compton, right? Wasn't killing anybody, wasn't doing anything super crazy. But, man, there was definitely a time in my life, just for what the power of the cross has done for me. There was a period in my life, I guess in high school, I guess we all try to fit that mold, right? We all try to fit the mold of, you know, being the cool kid, right? Kind of, you know, going to church on Sunday and Wednesday, right? But, you know, kind of just slipping in there, kind of doing a couple of things with the buddies that, you know, would be a little bit wrong. I think I was there definitely in my high school career for a short period of time. But then, like, I finally decided, I told myself, like, man, it's time for you to become a real man in Christ. It's time for you to understand what the cross has truly done for you. And it took me taking time to just sit down and pray and force myself to get in intimacy with the Lord. You know, normally that doesn't come naturally. We, as humans, we don't want to get up early in the morning, right, to pray and seek the Lord, right? But it took me getting myself out of my comfort zone and getting in the place of prayer and intimacy and asking the Lord, what does it truly mean to follow you? What does it take for me from stepping out of a place of just wanting to do my own thing and doing what you want to do? And what does it take for me to exit myself from the desires of this world to become more intimate with you? You see what I'm saying? And so it took me, I was thinking about this scripture. I was thinking about in Philippians 4, it says in chapter 2, verse 7, it says, I once thought these things were valuable, but now I consider them worthless because of what Christ has done. Yes, everything else is worthless when compared with the infinite value of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord. For his sake, I have discarded everything else, counting it all as garbage, so that I can gain Christ and become one with him. I no longer count my own righteousness through obeying the law. Rather, I have become righteous through the faith in Christ. For God's way of making us right with himself depends on faith. I want to know Christ and experience the mighty power that raised him from the dead. I want to suffer with him, sharing in his death, so that one way or another I will experience the resurrection from the dead. And so just reading that right there, if you say you truly are a Christ follower, that's what it takes. It says, I'm done doing my own thing. I count it all as garbage. If you really do have faith as a Christ follower, it takes you saying that. It takes you saying, dude, I don't want to do weed anymore. I don't want to do drugs anymore. It could be simple things. I don't want to lie anymore. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to steal. It takes you saying those things. It takes you stepping out of that, having faith that that will no longer be my desire. Yeah. Because there are people out there, I know people out there, I've grown up with them, man, that say they go to church on Sunday and Wednesday and then cut corners and do what they want to do, and they're not experiencing truly what the cross has done for them. And so that's my prayer for you guys, man, is that you truly decide for yourself that I'm going to live a life as a true Christ follower. I'm going to be a man of God. I'm going to be a woman of God. I'm going to say that I'm not going to do these things because I know that if I do them, that I will miss what Christ has truly done for me on the cross. You know, and so it also brings me to recognizing the fact that I'm not always going to be perfect, man. No longer have I decided to follow the things of this world, but I still am going to struggle, man. I'm still going to have temptations and desires of this world. And so that leads me to kind of reading on here in verse 12. It says, I don't mean to say that I've already achieved the things or that I've already reached perfection, but I press on to possess the perfection for which Christ Jesus first possessed me. No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which God, through Christ Jesus, is calling all of us. And so that's what the goal, man. It's for you to decide that, no, dude, I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm going to continue to press on. I'm going to continue to receive the relationship that Christ has given me, man. And that's what so many people just kind of exit out. They're just like, man, like, dude, I cannot be perfect. Like, you Christian people, dude, you guys are serious. Like, if you're trying to truly follow Jesus, man, I've got to give up all this stuff, man. But it's worth it, dude. I promise you, 100% it is worth it. If you think that this life is temporary, I'm just going to be young and do what I want, and then maybe one day decide to truly follow Christ, I promise you, man, it'll be really tough. It'll be super tough. And by that point, you won't have some of this diligence that you could have at a young age, just pursuing Christ intimately day after day after day. And so, man, I've seen it, man. I've seen dudes that I've grown up with in school, like, do what I've talked about, like, just decide to kind of cut corners and decide to, like I said, go to church on Sunday and Wednesday, but still try to fit the mold of this world. And, dude, it has completely taken them over, man. They're no longer going to church. They're no longer... I've got a buddy that grew up in church with me. Well, not particularly with me. He went to another church. He's another pastor's kid, man. And we both were kind of going to church, kind of just, like I said, kind of trying to fit that mold. And he decided to end up doing some serious drugs, man, and he decided to, like, kind of get into that. And now he's like an atheist now, you know. And just, it's crazy what happens when you try to become, you know, like, here's a line right here, right? You're kind of on the middle, man. You're trying to do things in this world. You're trying to do things for Christ. And when you do that, dude, it's one of the worst positions you can possibly be in, man, because the word says, if you're lukewarm, he will spew you out of his mouth, you know. And so that's what also it leads me to, man. I kind of want to go to Colossians as well. It says in chapter 3, since you have been raised to new life with Christ Jesus, you set your sights on the realities of heaven, where Christ sits in the place of honor at God's right hand. Think about the things of heaven, not the things of earth. For you died to this life, and your real life is hidden with Christ in God. And when Christ, who is your life, is revealed to the whole world, you will share in all of his glory. And so that's what kind of reminds me of what the cross truly does for me, is that I no longer have thoughts and processes of this world. When I've truly decided to follow Christ, I've put the old things away, man. I'm deciding to set my eyes on the things of heaven. And when you get older, dude, I promise you, your eyes will be kind of set on the things of this world, but you have to continually press towards him. You have to keep your eyes fixated on heaven, because this life is so temporary. And when you truly decide to follow Christ, man, your desires don't become yours anymore. They become his. And that's a hard thing to do, man. That's a super hard thing to do because we live in a culture, man, where people are just trying to, reach the top dollar, reach the top business line, try to do the best they can do in this world, work as hard as they can, but they're missing the mark, dude, because it's about souls, man. It's about winning people for Christ. That's also a part of truly saying I'm going to be a Christ follower. It's not deciding to just do things on my own, not deciding to, make the goals, make the 6-figure job, dude. It's about winning people's, lives for Jesus, And so that's what it also made me think of whenever I was talking with Scholar yesterday, like, dude, there are so many people that are just so temporary, living this life just so temporary, trying to do what they want to do, but in all reality, dude, if you truly decide to give your life to Christ, your eyes are fixated on heaven. Think about that. That's crazy. That is so counterculture. Super counterculture. People are so consumed with right now, but we are to fix our eyes on what is to come. It says in the Word that our lives are but a breath. That's what it talks about in Psalms. Think about that. It's a minute to God. It's nothing to God. And His time frame is so much different than ours. So what are we going to do with our time while we're on this earth? That's what the cross does for me, man. I've died to myself. I've come alive in Him. So what am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with that? Then I'm going to continue on with that too. It says, so put to death the sinful, earthly things lurking within you. Have nothing to do with sexual immorality, impurity, lust, and evil desires. Don't be greedy, for a greedy person is an idolater, worshiping the things of this world. Because of these sins, the anger of God is coming. That's pretty heavy. You used to do the things, I'm going to repeat that. You used to do these things when your life was still a part of this world. But now it is time to get rid of anger, rage, slander, and dirty language. Don't lie to each other, for you have stripped off your old simple nature and all its wicked deeds. Put on your new nature and be renewed as you learn to know your Creator and become like Him. In this new life, it doesn't matter if you are a Jew or a Gentile, circumcised or uncircumcised, barbaric, uncivilized, slave or free. Christ is all that matters, and He lives in all of us. So it doesn't matter what you've been through, bro. It doesn't matter if you have done the worst terrible thing in this life. It doesn't matter if it's so unheard of, so obscene, if you told somebody here tonight that they look at you differently, they would say, bro, you're crazy, you've done something terrible. It doesn't matter what you've done. Christ can redeem you, Christ can set you free from these things, man. And once He does, dude, your whole inside of you will change from the inside out. And I promise you, dude, I've been there where I've tried time and time again to just, like I said, cut the corner, try to fit both molds. And I've seen the destruction that it brings, man. And I promise you, dude, if you just try to step into intimacy with Jesus, dude, it is one of the greatest things you can ever do in your life. And that's what I'm learning right now, man, is that, dude, the more I continue to press into Jesus, the more and more I lose the likeness or the draw of the things of this world, and the more I become more connected with Him. And the more I become more connected with Him, the more I can do for His kingdom, the more I can become more like Him. Because that's what Jesus has called us to do, man, is to walk and live like Jesus lived. The Word says that we're to do even greater works than He did. We can do greater works than freaking walking on water. That's insane, dude. That's insane. And so if we can tap into that, if we can tap into the greater works, we can show more people that following Jesus is greater than smoking weed, bro. Following Jesus is greater than having premarital sex with your boyfriend or girlfriend. Those are the top things, but man, it can be anything. It can be greater than you staying up and binge watching Netflix for 18 hours a day. When in all reality, you could be getting in the Word, you could be getting in God's presence, man, and receiving dreams and visions of Him. You could receive a dream or a vision of you going to your school. You got a buddy in your class who has been dealing with depression for, 2 or 3 years, and you didn't know it, but because you stepped into the presence of God, you can now go up to him and say, hey bro, I'm here for you, dude. I know the Lord kind of spoke to me, man, God loves you, dude. You've been dealing with this. The Lord spoke to me and told me you've been dealing with this depression, but I'm here for you. God is here for you, and because of that, that person's depression was broken off, and they now are alive in Christ. A new soul has been won to Christ. You could step into those things.
Yes.
And so that's what I'm trying to get to you guys tonight, man, is that the more you step into His presence, the more you can do for His kingdom, the more you can become more in love with Him. And so that's what, and it also says, dude, in the Word talks about in Philippians, I think it's really interesting. You guys should read the New Testament as far as what Paul talks about in like Philippians and Colossians and Galatians and Ephesians, all of those books that he wrote. He talks about that when you die to Christ, your old mindset is taken away. I kind of was telling you guys about that earlier. Like, whenever you truly decide to follow Jesus, it's almost unheard of, dude. It's almost like taboo to what normal people can think in their preconceived minds, that you used to have these like humanistic desires, but when you decide to truly say, I'm going to follow Jesus, I'm going to put to death my old life, I'm going to be raised with Him, those desires completely go away.
Yeah.
Completely go away. And you'll be amazed at what you step into, I promise you. You'll be completely amazed. And so that's my prayer for you guys, is that you guys decide tonight to step out in faith. You know, if you have been living in a lukewarm lifestyle, which I completely understand, man, I know I've been there. But if you truly decide to step into, I'm going to be a real man, I'm going to be a real woman for Christ. If I'm going to sit here on Wednesday night, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to truly step into what God has for me. Yeah. If you truly decide to do that, dude, you will feel so much more love in your own heart, in your own mind, with connection with Christ. You're going to feel so much more peace. You're going to feel so much more excitement for the things of this world. You're probably going to enjoy school a lot more, believe it or not. No, seriously, dude. The more you step into the things of God, the more everything becomes more lively. That sounds super elementary, but it's so true, dude. It's so true, man. And so that's my prayer. And like, whenever you start to follow Christ, dude, whenever you truly decide to pick up your cross daily and follow Him, you become less selfish. That's a big thing. Because there's so many people out there, like I said, man, they're just trying to do their own thing, trying to get to the top, trying to become the best basketball player. I know you guys are all trying to pursue sports. David over here trying to do some basketball. You know, people are trying to do this, but man, that's not what truly matters. What truly matters is you doing that sports, but do it for Christ. Yeah. Do it with the intention of, man, today I want my practice, I'm going to be praying in the Spirit, and soon dude's going to be balling up beside me. You may get hurt, and I'll have the chance to pray for him and heal him right there, and transform my whole basketball team for Jesus. You know what I'm saying, man? The more you do that, the more you're in tune with the Spirit. You no longer experience the things of this world. You no longer experience trying to just fit the mold, but you are now following Christ intimately. And so that's what I have for you guys tonight, man. I just encourage you guys to continue to stay in the Word, continue to stay in prayer, man, and continue to follow Jesus intimately. It's the best decision you will ever make. Greater than any goal, any dream, any humanistic desire, man, I promise you, dude, it will change your life forever. Just take the step, dude. Just try it. Just try it, man. I promise you, man. And I know you guys are doing that. I know that Saga actually changed a lot of you guys' lives. Just that experience in the presence of God is changing you guys, and I know the Lord's going to continue to do that in you guys for real. So that's kind of what I have for you guys tonight. I just know that when you truly decide to step into that new presence, truly decide to step into the new intimacy with Christ, man, like I said, it's just the best decision you can make for sure. So that's what I got for you guys, and I hand over to Quentin. He's going to be there too.
Y'all give him another hand clap, man. That was just awesome. Man, I just want to share a little bit of my testimony and what just keeps me burning today. What I love coming here, praying for each and every one of you, is to have an encounter with God, to know His heart, to know His Spirit, to know His nature. He's not just some kind of religious figure. He is an actual person that wants to know you. He wants you to know Him. He wants to eat with you. He wants to talk to you. He wants to have a relationship with you. What really molded me to what I am today, what burns in me, if nothing else mattered, if nothing else happened, if I were to lose everything, having Him would be the sole thing. Was realizing that, in my life, just like many of you, I grew up in church. I mean, we in those churches like, and all that stuff. We jump and shout and everything like that, and that's amazing, And I grew up from that background, but like not really knowing Him. There's a difference between just going to church and then really knowing Him and say, God, I love you. I want to know you more. And in school, I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but man, trying to be a light and all these things, trying to follow the Bible, try to read the scripture and all these things, but man, I fell into a lifestyle of sin. And it really gripped me at a young age. That's happened years on the back, man. Just a perversion, man, that really gripped my life. It was hard to shake. I mean, I remember, just going to my dad and just crying, man, and just telling him everything. I'm just like, Dad, I did this, Dad, this is what's going on, God, and I just felt like just total condemnation. Like, I think when I was around 11 or 12, man, just laying in my bed, just crying, and just like, God, I need freedom. I need to know you. Like, I'm tired of like struggling. I'm tired of dealing with all this like torment in my mind and all these things like that, man. And so, what led to me to just going after him, I went to the ramp, which we all know, which we're going to be going in the summer. Is that right? Right. Man, it's going to be awesome. I want y'all to be tuned in. Go, each and every one of you. But man, it was a raw encounter with God that I had right there. Because of like the finished work of Jesus Christ, the Bible says like He has rid the veil that we could enter into the holy place. Like Jesus has entered in that place like by Himself, like, because He is the Son. He shed the blood that we can live in freedom, that we can have divine part, like oneness with Him. Like, I am holy because He is holy. Like, he who be in Christ is a new creature. And like Jesus has made the way that we can step into His presence and knowing Him. And so, man, went through many of services, but man, there was just a time where I was just like, man, I don't even know if God is real, man. I'm dealing with this. I don't know what's going on and all that stuff. And there was just something in me that just cried out, and I was just like, God, I need you. And that encounter, I just felt God say, I will not let you fall. Like, just those 6 words, man, just completely marred me. And that was like the first time, like, feeling the presence of God and hearing God. And that like catapulted me. I was just like on the floor for about like an hour and a half almost. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I was just being wrecked by God, because of His goodness, And the Bible says His goodness leads us to repentance, man. It wasn't condemnation, and like any thoughts of condemnation is not of God, but man, He draws you. He draws you in to have like a relationship with Him. And it's just like from that place of just experiencing His presence, man, it just made me hungry to like, man, I've never experienced a love like this before. Like, I don't have to depend, on women to bring me satisfaction. I don't have to depend upon my football buddies and all these things, but man, I have someone who loves me, who truly fulfills me. Like, God fills that wholeness, that void inside that no man was ever made to feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, and from that place, man, it is really just burning me to just go after Jesus. And so one scripture I'm going to give to y'all, man, is like Hebrews 12. Hebrews 12:1, it says, therefore we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. Let us throw off everything that hinders us and the sin that so easily entangles us, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, the author and the finisher of our faith, man. And so I just want to let you know, man, like, Jesus is awesome, and you can step into a relationship with Him. You can step into knowing Him, that it becomes more than just, oh, I got to get in my word. But like, the Bible talks about, He makes He writes His laws in our minds and writes them in the tabernacle of our hearts. Like everything of God, it becomes our desire, And so, and step into a relationship is more than anything. And that's what has, kept me from, matter of fact, like, from that encounter, just am completely in awe of God. And I'm just like, man, the TV that I had in my room, man, I had to throw it away, man. I was just like, some things that I had, I just got to get rid of, because I'm just like, Jesus, you're going to take this. You're going to have all of my mind. You're going to have all of my heart. And I'm not going to share any idols. And that's something that was the thing that we had about, in Salgahachi, I'm burning my idols. I'm burning all these things, man. And I'm giving my whole devotion to only you. And I'm telling you, man, His presence is real. His blood is real. His grace is sufficient, man. And so, man, I just pray that that God just blesses you, that you would just press into knowing Him is worth it. You know, even some of the sacrifices like that got me entangled in sin that I allowed myself to be in. Like, I just felt from the Lord to like just cut out football. I felt like I cut off a lot of things. I had a relationship then, man, I had to cut it off, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, Jesus, I need more of you, bro. You know, and so, but, you know, from that place, have I done everything perfect? No. But one thing about it, it gives me such a hunger to know Him. It's just like, man, after seeing Jesus, He's more real than anything I've ever done, anything that I've ever tasted. Like, I've seen the world at its best, but when I found Jesus, man, there's nothing to compare. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, my prayer for you is that we just step into a place of just knowing Him more. Just fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, man. He's the one that's able to keep you from stumbling. He's the one that's able to keep you from falling. And so, man, I just want to bless y'all with that. And I'm going to hand it on up to Ryan right here, man.
That's awesome, man. These guys did a great job. I think it's cool to hear people tell their story. The Bible says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
That's right.
And the truth is that, like, we could pass this microphone around, and we really need a setting where we can do that, where if I were to say, you know, Ben, why do you love Jesus? Tell me why. Like, what does the cross mean for you? Like, what does following after Jesus mean for you? Why do you choose Jesus? What are you doing? Why are you a Christian? You know, I think it's important for us to say, man, I love Jesus because, you know, God has done this for me. And have a realization that I once was lost and now I'm found. Yeah. And it doesn't matter, you know, the majority of us do come from a church background, we're raised in church our whole life, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So even though I may not have a testimony that I came off the streets and I was addicted to cocaine and I was drinking 2 30-packs a day, and I was the bouncer at Visions, you know, like it doesn't mean that God hasn't saved me just the same, you know? So it's important for us to realize the Bible says he who has been forgiven much loves much. That doesn't mean that if Quentin has sinned more and God has forgiven him of more sins than me, that he loves God more than I do. It means that we've all been forgiven of much. Yes. We've all been forgiven of the greatest thing that we could ever be forgiven of, and that's sin that would keep us from having a relationship with God. So I think these guys did an awesome job, and I'm excited to hear next week from Skylar and Tiffany, to hear from the girls, and then Taylor's going to follow them up the next week, and I'm just going to see what God does. And it's important, I think, for you to hear people's story. You know, like Mikey could have talked probably more about it, Quentin could have gone more in depth into his story. Because I think it gives you hope to be like, man, if God can do that in him, then he can do it in me. If God can do that in him, then he can do it in me. And we just love Jesus. And so I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be great. That the aftermath of the cross, the greatest aftermath of the cross is my life. That what the cross has done has set me free. And I have a story to tell. So it's good. So you can go to school and tell people, man, Jesus loves me. He set me free, man. Like, I got something to say. I'm excited about it. You need to be excited about Jesus. Like, if you're not excited about Jesus and you don't know Jesus right, you know, like, you got to be excited about Jesus, man, because he's awesome. And so, just want to pray over us, and then we'll go, and you guys be safe getting home tonight. I think the rain's going. You're not going to melt going home. It's okay. And I think you're safe. No tornadoes. You don't have to go hide in your basement tonight. Wait, y'all have a basement? No. And who has a storm shelter? Dude, we're going to his house. It's a doomsday shelter. Oh, we're coming to your house for sure. You got open green glass in there? Oh, man. It's got air conditioning though. I'm definitely coming to yours. All right, man, let's pray. God, we just love you. We do. We love you. We're thankful for the cross. We're thankful for what it's done in our hearts. Thankful for what it means to us. And we want to talk about it. We want to testify about it. And just give you the praise that you're worthy of. And so we want to be serious about following after you. And know that your word is a powerful thing. Your word is a life-changing thing. And so we just pray tonight that you would stir a passion for Jesus in our hearts. You would make us passionate followers of Jesus. We love you. We thank you. In Jesus' name, everybody say amen. 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 All right, man. Thanks all for being here tonight. And be safe getting home. Appreciate you. Come next week. Bring somebody with you. And tell them how much you love Jesus. Peace out. I'm glad that some of the guys came out and played basketball with us Saturday night. Y'all ain't had dinner. Yeah. Todd, so you were working? Oh, yeah. Somebody got work? Somebody has work? Wait, you know what Chick-fil-A was? Get that frosted strawberry lemonade? Oh, Lord. 79 cent slushies at Sonic.
What?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Any story at Sonic? Hey, today's Ben's birthday, y'all.